everyone, welcome to my channel, General Hospital. General Hospital spoilers. Will Michael return as Dark Michael unleashing vengeance on Port Charles? General Hospital spoilers and updates tease a very good question with Michael Corinthos. Chad Dell, being off-screen for a while due to Chad's exit. Will the character change? If and when Michael returns, will he be Dark Michael, unleashing vengeance on Port Charles? General Hospital spoilers. Before the explosion, Michael Corinthos was beloved in Port Charles. Before the explosion, Michael Corinthos was a favorite in Port Charles. If and when he comes back after Chad's leaving the show, will he be feared? We didn't want Chad Duell to leave General Hospital as Michael in such a dramatic way, but that's the story we got. It's still unclear if Michael will survive his injuries, but we believe he will live and be taken to a burn care center for recovery. If that happens, we can't help but wonder what might happen when Michael returns. One major possibility is a healed Michael seeking revenge on Port Charles. GH spoilers. Michael Corinthos fought for his life in the past as well. We should take a moment to look back at some history from General Hospital before diving into a hypothetical situation. The last time Michael was in a life-or-death struggle was when he was younger and got shot by a sniper during an assassination attempt on Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard. This incident left him in a coma for about a year, and when he finally woke up, he was no longer the sweet little boy he used to be, thanks to soap opera aging syndrome. Instead, he had turned into a moody teenager determined to follow his father's path. But his parents and Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, intervened. Additionally, Michael has shown that he shares his parents' desire for revenge when he feels wronged, and he is actually quite skilled at it. General Hospital spoilers. Michael Corinthos is a methodical thinker. He approaches situations with a calculated mindset, often targeting the things his adversaries cherish the most. After Sonny eliminated AJ Quartermain, Scene Cannon, Michael seized control of Avery Jerome Corinthos, Ava, and Grace Scarola as a means of revenge against his adoptive father. He even changed his name for a period of time from Corinthos to Quartermain. More recently, Michael was poised to strip Sonny of his freedom following the heartbreak he caused Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, and he also managed to snatch Aurora away from Drew Quartermain. Michael was the one behind bringing the late Dex Heller, Avenhofer, to town to infiltrate Sonny's organization to get proof to turn him into the feds. GH spoilers. Michael Corinthos returns with a lot of anger over the changes. Looking ahead, let's picture Michael getting better at the burn care facility and preparing to go home. Before he makes the move back to Port Charles, he discovers that Drew and Willow Corinthos, Caitlin McMullen, have continued their complicated romance. Drew stepped in as a father figure to Michael's two kids, unless Carly takes custody. Additionally, Michael learns that Sasha Corbin, Sophia Matson, had their baby and is now raising the child with Jason, as they have officially become a couple. On top of everything, Michael feels a deep resentment about what he has lost because of the explosion and blames Sonny's way of life for his troubles. General Hospital spoilers. Michael Corinthos wants vengeance. These situations create several potential grudges for Michael. Michael might return to town with the intention of ruining the relationship between Drew and his ex-wife, especially if Carly hasn't intervened by then. He could be upset with his uncle and best friend Jason for stepping into the role of a father to a child he has never met. Since Michael is familiar with Sonny's business and has tried to get involved in the past, he might come back with a strategy to take control. He could remove Sonny from the position he has held for most of his life. Michael may believe he can manage it better than Sonny, feeling that his father has failed to protect the family, especially considering the situation with Morgan Corinthos, Brian Craig. A new dawn in Port Charles. The air was heavy in Port Charles, a town known for its secrets and scandals. It wasn't just the rumors that carried weight. It was the palpable tension in the aftermath of Michael Corinthos' devastating explosion. For weeks, the community had grappled with the loss of one of its most beloved figures, unsure if they'd ever see him again. But Michael wasn't lost, not entirely. Lying in the sterile, brightly lit confines of a burn care facility far from his hometown, Michael Corinthos wrestled with pain far greater than the physical scars he bore. His body, fragile yet resilient, was mending under the watchful eyes of a dedicated medical team. However, his soul was ablaze with anger, betrayal, and a thirst for vengeance that only deepened with each passing day. He had learned too much during his recovery, too much about the changes that had taken place in his absence, too much about the betrayals that had unfolded when he was unable to defend himself. And it was time for Port Charles to reckon with a new Michael, a Michael forged by fire. The betrayal unveiled. Michael's recovery was grueling, but the constant ache in his muscles paled in comparison to the ache in his heart. Weeks of isolation had given him plenty of time to reflect and to dig into the fragments of news he could gather about his family and loved ones back home. It started with Drew Quartermain. Michael had always considered Drew a steady presence, a man he could rely on. But discovering that Drew had stepped in as a surrogate father to Wiley and Amelia, while Michael lay incapacitated, felt like a dagger to the chest. "They're my children," Michael growled to himself, his hands clenching into fists. His reflection in the mirror was unrecognizable, a face marred by scars, yet his blue eyes still burned with fury. The bitterness deepened when he heard about Willow. Drew hadn't just been playing father, he had grown closer to Willow, forming a bond that went beyond mere companionship. And Jason, his uncle and trusted ally, had taken a romantic turn with Sasha, raising a child Michael had never even met. "How convenient," Michael muttered. "They all moved on, like I never existed." A return in shadows. When the time came for Michael to leave the burn care facility, he did so with little fanfare. He insisted on maintaining a low profile, refusing to inform anyone in Port Charles of his impending return. The Michael Corinthos they had known was gone. In his place was a man with a singular focus: justice, or, as he saw it, vengeance. He stepped off the bus at the edge of town, his hood pulled low over his face. He would bide his time, observing from the shadows, piecing together the puzzle of his absence. Michael's first stop was the Quartermain estate. From a distance, he watched through the iron gates as Drew played catch with Wiley, the boys' laughter echoing across the manicured lawn. It should have been a joyful sight, but to Michael, it was a bitter reminder of what had been stolen from him. The Mastermind Emerges. Michael's plans didn't come together overnight. He was methodical, spending weeks weaving a web of deception and misdirection. He knew Sonny's organization better than most, and he began planting seeds of chaos from afar, disrupting shipments, framing rival families, and orchestrating small attacks that left Sonny and his men scrambling. Sonny's health was already fragile, and the stress of the attacks only exacerbated his condition. Carly, ever the fierce matriarch, tried to hold things together, but the cracks in their defenses were growing. Meanwhile, Michael played the part of the innocent survivor, reintroducing himself to the family with an outwardly warm demeanor. He embraced Drew, thanked Jason for stepping in, and even congratulated Willow on her resilience. But behind closed doors, he seethed. The first strike. The first public act of Michael's vengeance was subtle yet devastating. He leaked information that exposed a sensitive deal Drew had been working on for Aurora Media, resulting in the company's stock plummeting overnight. Drew was blindsided, and while he suspected foul play, He had no idea the attack had come from within the family. Jason wasn't spared either. Michael arranged for one of Sonny's old rivals to plant evidence, suggesting Jason had been skimming profits from the business. The accusations drove a wedge between Jason and Sonny, leaving both men vulnerable. Even Sasha felt the sting of Michael's wrath. A mysterious investor began buying up shares in deception, threatening to take control of the company and oust her as CEO. A town on edge. Port Charles was in turmoil. Sonny's once dominant empire was crumbling under the weight of the attacks, and the Corinthos family found themselves surrounded by enemies. The Quartermains were reeling from the fallout at Aurora, and even Carly, who had weathered countless storms, was beginning to falter. Through it all, Michael remained a steady presence, offering words of support and comfort to his family and friends. No one suspected that the man they welcomed back with open arms was the architect of their suffering. The reckoning. The climax of Michael's plan came during a lavish gala at the Metro Court. The event was meant to be a celebration of unity and resilience, but it quickly devolved into chaos when Michael unveiled his true intentions. As the room filled with shocked gasps, Michael stood before the crowd, his scars visible for all to see. "You all left me," he said, his voice steady and cold. "You moved on as if I didn't exist. And now you'll pay the price." One by one, he exposed their secrets and betrayals, leaving his family and friends stunned and speechless.